Hey everybody, it's Chris. I'm here with a quick recommendation. This is nothing fancily edited, it's just all off the dome. I just had an idea. Today is International Women's Day, and it reminded me of a pioneer in comics who I think is less known. I don't know if I should say underrated. I think that she's well respected, but I don't think a lot of people always know about her. I'm talking about Ramona Fradon. She came into the comics industry, mainstream comics, in 1950. She had graduated from the Parsons School of Design, so she studied illustration, graphic design, all that good stuff. And thanks to one of her husband's friends, who I believe was a letterer at DC Comics, she began working for them. They put her work in front of the editors, and she began working for them. And for 10 years, she illustrated Aquaman stories for Adventure Comics. That was the title she worked on for about 10 years, from I think 51 to 61, somewhere in that vicinity. Good stuff. Then she took some breaks for like having children, raising children and stuff, but she came back in the mid-60s, and throughout the 70s, she was working at DC Comics. She co-created Metamorpho. What a wonderfully bizarre character. I feel that that's a character that's shown up in a bunch of animated media, and he shows up in the comics, but is also like a little bit lesser known, but very, very cool, fun character. She's also done some work on stuff like Plastic Man. She illustrated, I think, all of the Super Friends comics, or if not all of them, like almost all of them. So she's done a lot of great stuff for DC Comics. And here's the thing. When she was working for DC Comics, she was basically one of only two female artists that was working at Marvel and DC throughout like that whole time period. Marie Severin did a lot of work for Marvel at the time, and they actually didn't really know each other. They met later in life at conventions and stuff. But while Ramona Fradon was illustrating Aquaman for DC Comics, Marie Severin, by coincidence, was illustrating a lot of Submariner comics over at Marvel. Anyway, she's still around today. She's I believe 90 years old, but she is on the convention circuit. She still does the occasional illustration for, like comics and books and stuff like that. She had a lengthy run doing newspaper comics. I think it was Brenda Starr. That part of her career I'm not too familiar with. But the Aquaman stuff and the Metamorpho stuff is both really, really cool. She's a great artist. She definitely had the fundamentals of stuff like, gesture, anatomy, all that good stuff, background detail, top notch. The thing that I think Ramona did very well was very expressive faces. I won't necessarily say too cartoony, but she had expressiveness to her faces. And she also always seemed to know good angles for like where to sort of put the camera. In other words, how to frame her panels to make them interesting. I think that she tended to put the camera a little low, and that sort of made the superheroes seem that much bigger and more heroic, because you tended to be just looking up at them slightly. And remember, this is a time when comics certainly had very talented artists, but they weren't as dynamic as what we have today. A lot of that credit, well, there's other people that evolved the medium. I don't want to say improved it, but evolved it. And in that time, she was a really great artist, and she was just a working artist. She's talked about her time in comics at various conventions and stuff in interviews, and she said she actually, had a really good time. She felt that she was treated fairly, treated well. Of course, working for DC Comics wasn't quite the same as working for Marvel Comics, at least at that time. A lot of Marvel talent would actually work together in a home office in what they called the bullpen. And DC, a lot of their artists did still sort of work from home and send their artwork in, and that's what Ramona did. But anyway, if you want to read some of her work, both the Aquaman stuff and the Metamorpho stuff has been collected in DC's showcase editions. So I'll have the link to like those Amazon books in the description below, just in case you're curious. But I think she was a pioneer. She definitely deserves a lot more attention, love, and respect for what she brought to comics.